Hey, and welcome back. It's Gary from Gary's Coin Channel. And today we're going to do a back-to-back Roosevelt dime hunt. These, I believe, are uncirculated. So we're going to check. And let me pause to get my glove on. Okay. The glove's a little grungy, but it'll work. Let's open these up. A quick look, see what's going on. I did have a couple of these rolls, and I kind of held them aside and said, let me go ahead and open them up. I believe they're uncirculated. I could be wrong, but we're going to try, see what's going on. I had them for a while. Alright. A little difficult to open. Get them out. A little dust bunny. Oop. Just lose one? Maybe. No. There's a hanger. Alright. And I don't recall what these were. I think they're 23 Phillies. I'm guessing. So let's go through them. Let's see what we got. I'm going to hold these aside. Let me get another container. Just because. Let me pause a minute. Okay, got my container ready. The old Tupperware thing. Just going to isolate these and get right to it. I really don't know what I think there's a lot of die chips on the reverse. Let's get right to it and start checking them out. So we're in 25s. Okay. Get into my microscope view. Make sure we're focused in. I'm using a 4K microscope. Kind of rigged up two different microscopes I put together. Let me see if I can lower the brightness a little bit. Hold on, pausing. Alright, there we go. Just because the coins are very shiny and it sends off a lot of false lighting. But let's get right to it. 2025 Philly. And make sure we're in view. Here we go. Alright. I really don't know what to expect. What we're going to be looking for mostly is mishaps, mint issues, doubling, chips, breaks, cuts. Let's get right to it. 2025 Philly. I don't have to read the date. They're all the same. You see a lot of these, in the 23s, there's a lot of die chips up and around the olive branches and in the oak. You see the die chips show up quite a bit. I don't know if they're in these 25s, but we'll give it a shot. I may have to pull the glove off. Honestly, these, though they're uncirculated, I don't see any value to them. Let's see. I'll do the best I can. You want to look along the torch on the bottom. You get die chips in here and along the flames too. So basically, just check the whole design. You know, die chips are really not worth a whole lot of money, but if there's any interest to them, you know, they're good to have. Hold on to. And clashes. I'm going to see if anything's popping through to the other side. You see that? That's not a doubling, that's a shadowing from the microscope. I turned down the brightness a little bit just so it's not glaring back. These dimes are all like mirrors. I use an old cigarette box. You know, you can see it on the right here. It's got duct tape on it. I like to rock it back and forth to get, you know, you could look at the field of the coin really well and see if there's any clash. Well, that's why I use that. It's better than laying them flat. Not really expecting, but you never know. Looks like a little bit of issue on the oak branch on the right, but nothing really to get excited about. Keep going. A little slight, ever so slight machine doubling. You can see it on the R on Liberty, some on the E. Very minor, nothing crazy. Again, we have the issue with the oak branch. Looks like a die chip. Something going on, but it's very minor. Not worth it. I might find 10 of them in here. And it doesn't matter, front or back. We're just looking for any kind of error, mishap, variety, you name it. You actually do these pretty quick. I did not research any 25 Philly issues, you know, any known varieties, you know, to keep an eye out for, but we could find them. If they're there, we'll find them. Little machine doubling and God, nothing crazy. Again, you see a little bit of machine doubling on the God, very, very minor. It's kind of normal. Nothing to get excited about. So here you don't see it. Maybe a little. There's a thing where you could probably get more for a sealed roll of uncirculated dimes, you know, sealed, than if you sold them as open. But the chance of missing out on a really nice error, you know, you won't know because you didn't open a roll. Hope that made sense. It's not a gamble. It is what it is. Like here we have this shadow. I thought I had a die chip on the flame. There. Light machine doubling, shadowing, and more so shadowing. You know what I was saying. You know, if you find something like really severe, you know, off center or nice cut, you get a lot more for that single coin than you could sell in a whole roll of uncirculated, or you know, close to it. It's the fun finding it. You know, but then again, it could be disappointment. You go through 2 rolls and you don't find a thing. You end up, you know, just packing them up as uncirculated, which is okay. On the oak leaf, you have something going on. Same, you know, it's like a die chip area to the right. We now saw. Let's see. It says, don't shake. Too much coffee today. Right in here. You know, a couple now. I don't know, 5 or 6, but nothing severe. But it looks like a chip with a little material popping through. We'll keep an eye on that. I'm not expecting much. Here's another one. We want the big errors. We want a coin off center or clash. And I like that nice die clash on a dime. I know they're out there. Clash die. Or a nice doubling. You know, any of that. But you never know. And the good thing is, being that these are all, you know, they're business strikes, but they're all uncirculated. Uh, the value of an error, even if it's a minor error, really brings it up because it is an uncirculated coin. Yeah, more of the die chip and the oak leaves. It's not supposed to be there. And 8 of them now. I was worried I couldn't pick the dimes up. The gloves on. I'm doing alright. You got a little ring of death on the forehead. This is an end cap, no doubt, from the machine rolling. The ring of death. It would stink if it was on a good coin. That hasn't really happened to me yet. I found nice coins with, you know, post mid, you know, PMD. I was like, wow, I wish that didn't happen. But it is what it is. You can see the luster of these dimes are just incredible. I'm not throwing them down. I'm kind of gently putting them down. uncirculated 25 Phillies dimes. I don't think they're really selling for much. Unless there's a run with them, or well, I don't know. There's more stains in these coins. Another ring of death. Do the United. Do one dime. Could be from the machine sorting it. I don't know. I'll just keep going. There's more of that die chip on the oak branch. It's like just a glob of metal that should not be there. See, it's not here. That's not doubling by the nose. It's like it'd be partly shadowing from the microscope. Could be a slight machine doubling, more of a clad bump, from the strike. I'm not gonna call it a machine double either, but it does appear to be double. You see a lot of that, so it's not like a known, error or variety. Yeah, very minor die chip issues here. I have a lot of 23s with really severe die chips on the reverse. Along the torch, up in the olive branch and the oak. There's quite a bit of that in 23. So I thought these were the 25s. So I don't like gloves. Alright, we'll get through it. Now here you got, it's interesting. It's like a offset strike. Slightly, in from the collar. A little wide on the reverse. Not crazy. Almost looks like the copper below. I don't know. I don't see any evidence of a clash. This one, I'm going to put it aside just because of that issue along the collar. Look into that. It's different. And you got more of that oak branch with the chip issue. And we've got probably 10 of them already now. Yeah, you move the light around. You got a little bit of machine doubling on the R and Liberty. Nothing substantial. Doesn't draw the red flag or the green flag. And what I do with a hunt, I put aside anything that's interesting up here. And then after the hunt, I'll do a review of the hunt. I'm not expecting much, but you never know. That's what it's all about. I'm sure there's no silver in here. There's more of that issue in the oak branch. Die chip, cracked die, I don't know. Whatever. It's not supposed to be there. Here. Clash. Nope. I want to get the new dimes. The new, not Roosevelt, the new, what do they call them? Are they Liberty dimes? I don't know. This has a collar thing going on too, but not as severe as the other one. That's just a break from the collar or offset or we're not going to do anything with it. I'll put it aside. I can pretty much guarantee there's no value at all. It's just a normal kind of mishap. And more of a die chip and oak. But I saw something in the flame. No. It's sloppy B on Liberty. Nothing there really. Now, a little in the R, you have a little bit of a machine doubling, but that I'd rather call that like a chatter, like machine chatter that actually vibrates the cladding enough to make it do that, from the heat or what have you. But it's not really machine doubling, but there is something on the leg of the R. Pass on it. Nothing severe. Again, I don't try to pulling off machine doubled coins unless it's really severe. And pulling them off, or try to sell them. There's really no market for them. Just calling a double, like a double die, a machine double. It's almost like a curse. It's like, how dare you say that? It is what it is. They got the double die everybody wants is the rotated uh, double. The rotated die or skipped coin jumps, or and not these machine doubling uncladded coins. You see it a lot. So yeah, I wasn't expecting much out of these. That's why I haven't opened them. I figure, well, I need a break. Nickels were driving me crazy. I'll tell you, you can go through a box of nickels and get 5 coins out of it, maybe. I mean, seriously. I mean, it's horrible, and they're all circulated too. So I'd rather hunt uncirculated, bank rolls. Honestly, just because the turnaround would be a lot better if you do find an error. I still have boxes of 2017 pennies, and I'm gonna hold on to them because the 2017 Philly is the only penny with the P mint mark on it. Out of all, unless I'm wrong, maybe the new ones do. Well, there's no new pennies, but and I hear people say, yeah, they're gonna be collectible one day. Maybe so, but there's just so many of them. You see what they, but I have them. I'll go through them if I find something. Go through the rest. Take a hit. I don't know. What am I gonna get? $1 a roll? I haven't checked in a while. $2 for a 50-cent roll. I sold all my 25s. So I was getting like $3-4 for a roll of 25 pennies uncirculated. Which I would never think that would happen, but it happened. That's another one with the collar. I'm not gonna pay too much attention. More die chip on the oak on the right. It's not machine doubling, that's shadowing from the microscope. Okay, I have to start doing it like this. I'm gonna scratch up the coins. Oh. Who's that? Hey, whose hair is that? Ain't mine, I have none. Yeah. Going off the box. That's annoying. It is on the roll itself. I do not have hair. Okay, at least we're getting down to the wire here. You know, in my videos, all YouTube videos, you can fast forward, you know, by doing like a double speed. So you can get to it quicker. And then just look at the end of the video, the highlights. Here we have more of that die chip on the oak branch. You see how I'm saving it, right? I expected that. A little minor right here. Minor on the oak. And a little more die chip on the oak. What do we got, a dozen already? I kind of expected that. And there's more. And technically, is it a mint error? Yeah, but it's so common, it's not worth it. It's not like a extra B on 23 penny. You find them, but not as common as this. And another one. And another one. There's something going on here. I think that's yep, the ring of death with the oak issue. Look, machine doubling in the one. Very minor. It's that cladding bump. Nothing there really. Really is nothing there. I'm not gonna say there is. Yeah, getting down to the wire here. So you look at the nose, it looks like there's a, oh, that's double. And when you turn the light up on it, yeah, you know what? We have a little bit of deformed cladding on the end of the nose. But again, that's typical with these clad, you know, coins. Nothing to get excited about. I see a lot of people say, "Oh, look what I got." Say, yeah." But it's not supposed to be there, but it's not like it's rare either. Um, and it's just so minor, the minor bumping of the cladding on the strike. Here you got more of the oak, that die chip. See, the nose is nice and clean. Nothing there. Down to 2. Yeah. And the last one. That was 2 rolls of 50 Rosies. 25 Philly. This one has a little bit of that issue with the rim, the collar. Very minor. Nothing to get excited over. It's a typical day at the mint. There's nothing, there's no clashing, nothing crazy. So, 100 dimes and pretty much nothing. But we do have a review. Let's review our 2 that we put aside. Here's the one. It's offset collar, offset, but it's off the collar. It's there. It's evident, but again, it's not something that really puts any value on this dime. You try to sell it, people say, "Oh, okay." So we'll give it back to the bank. We'll put it in the rolls, and again, here's another one showing that edging along the collar. The rim almost looks like mini cuds trying to pop up. That something happened. It was a hard hit. I don't know. Bad annealing. Who knows? But that's it. That's my rosy dime hunt for the day. Uneventful. I just want to say thanks for watching. And, if you're around, maybe I'll do another nickel hunt. God knows I got tons of them. So, yeah, let's put this one in the books and officially say nothing. Out of 2 rolls of uncirculated 25 Philly Roosevelts. Just a little bit of rim collar issues, and then that very typical or common die chip on the reverse. And this time it was along the oak branch. So we got about a dozen of those out of 100. You'd see it's not a rare thing. It's very common. Value-wise, maybe someday, because it's uncirculated, it might throw 15 cents your way instead of 10. Maybe a quarter. Yeah, I don't know. But no, it's not, in my opinion, worth even entertaining the thought. If you like my video, please hit the thumbs up below, or comment if you got anything to say about rosy dimes, the modern cladded stuff. You say, hey Gary, look out for this, look out for that. I'm all ears, and I'll answer the best I can. But my whole goal in these coin hunts to find substantial errors and varieties, and unfortunately nothing here. But we're not done. We'll do some more. Thanks for watching.